Hello, my gorgeous group ones. Welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me here in group one to go over how do you charm people / cast them under your spell. So we're continuing the spooky, the Halloween-y type readings, and I have all the Halloween type decks today at my disposal. I had to bring them to work with me. We're going to get right into it. So no jibber jabber. Let's get straight into how do you charm people / cast them under your spell. Make them do your bidding. Do whatever you want, kind of thing. So I'm using the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot deck. And for those of you who don't know me and maybe new to this video, I'm obsessed with all things Buffy. Okay? You know what I need them to do? Make a charmed tarot deck. That would be my next deck. Because what? Not that I need it anymore. I have too many as it is. But hey. Maybe you talk a lot. That could be what makes you charming. And how do you cast people under your spell? You use like words. Maybe you're very passionate about what you do and what you love. And you kind of speak that into people, you know? We love people who are passionate about what they do. I feel like most of the time when I'm on these dating apps, right? And I'm like swiping. The thing that I see a lot is men who want women who are like, love what they do. Right? And I feel like I'm the same way. I want to be someone who wakes up happy about what they're doing in life and what they've accomplished, you know, and what they're going to accomplish, you know, have goals, ambitions, dreams, right? And it's happy about putting in the work, you know, someone who's like not lazy. So you're definitely giving someone who's quite ambitious, okay? What else can you tell me, please, Spirit? How do my group ones charm / cast people under their spell? Can we get something besides they talk a lot about what they love, which kind of warms people up to you? We have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, there's success here. And this Queen of Pentacles, I'm not even sure who this lady is, if I'm being honest. I don't remember her from the show. And then we have the Hermit. Interesting. So you're definitely giving very quiet, not even shy vibes, but reserved, you know. I don't think that you allow just anybody to be around you and be in your energy. There's wisdom that comes with the Hermit. There's worldliness. There's someone who is very aware of what they do. That sounded like a complete sentence there, but I didn't mean to stop there. I'm looking for the words that I'm trying to say, you know. Maybe you are very mindful about what you say and how you say it, but I feel like the Hermit they're self-aware. The Hermit knows what they need to do. They know if something's wrong, go deeper, look into things, research, not just accept things at face value. If something's wrong in your life and you're unhappy, start with yourself. What are you doing wrong that you don't like? What could you do more of that makes you happy? Like, you're definitely someone who like looks at things as like things to fix. You pick it apart to like bring it back together in the way that suits you, right? So you have like a very intriguing mind, you know? And I just heard auspicious mind. So someone whose thoughts, you know, bear fruit. Someone whose thoughts become their reality. So you're a great manifester, right? And I believe that is the Queen of Pentacles because she's queen of the physical realm. She's queen of her world around her. Whether that world is just your house, your friend group, your family, it doesn't matter. You rule over like certain things. So maybe you have some kind of authority, or you're the one that everybody comes to and depends on, right? And that's something that people find very charming about you, okay? You're also getting a little badass is the kind of vibe that's coming through here, because the way she's dressed in like her clothes, you dress really well. So you're definitely someone who always looks good. You smell good. Hygiene is very important to you. You get your hair done, get your nails did, right? You're the stylish person that everyone sees on the train and they want to be, you know? There's plenty of people I be seeing on the train and I'm like, who's that? Like, I want to be like them, right? That's the kind of energy coming through. Makeup is perfect. Hair is perfectly styled. it's kind of like you own whatever you wear, no matter what aesthetic it may be that day, no matter where you're going or what you do. And you seem like someone who is quite confident, settled, you know, you sit there with your head held high, your back ramrod straight. And it's kind of like, okay, that's someone who's quite comfortable in their skin. And that's how you charm people. You're comfortable in your skin. You love what you do, right? You talk about it often, especially if someone asks you, because you're coming through as the hermit. So you don't start conversations, but when a conversation is started, best believe you're finishing it. If you hear someone outside talking about astrology, if that's what you're into, or talking about Buffy, because that's what I'm into, I'm gonna be like, oh, so who's your favorite character? And then you kind of build the whole conversation around one simple thing. So you're a great conversationalist and things don't get boring. You're not someone who's like, and it's like, no, the conversation flows quite easily. People easily feel quite comfortable around you because the Queen of Pentacles is the archetype of the mother, the nurturer, the caretaker. And like I said, that's how you treat people in your life, your close inner circle, or anyone you meet. Like, you're nice, but not like, I heard, too accommodating. Yeah, you're nice, but not overly accommodating. You're not trying to bend over backwards. You're like, okay, you know what it's giving me? The whole, you're not nice, you're kind. You know, I'll be kind to you, gracious, but as soon as you overstep a line, you're being put back in your place. You're not even giving them room to step over the line. You know what I mean? And there's also another saying coming through where it's like, do no harm, but take no ish. That's also coming through. You don't have to do something to make people feel hurt and pain. It's kind of giving Jane from Twilight, you know, how she could look at someone and tell them pain and they would be writhing pain and she didn't even have to touch them. It's just eye contact, right? So something about bringing pain to people without having to touch them, maybe through your words, your actions, but it's nothing that includes physical assault. Maybe if you got a nice right arm or a right hook is what they call it, you know, or left hook, whatever is your dominant hand, no matter, right? You have a mean left or right hook that kind of hits people right in the, what do they say, the kisser. That's funny. Maybe you charm people with your kissing. And I'm also hearing your voice. Maybe you sing really well, because I'm seeing someone playing a flute and a snake moving, dancing, you know, snake charmer kind of energy. That's the kind of energy coming through with you. You play this melody, and even the most fiercest of snakes, and everyone is scared of snakes. I don't want you to tell me nobody who's gonna see a snake on the outside, at home, in the dark, whatever, a big, and the venomous ones, not the cute small ones, no, the big thick ones, the pythons and whatnot. You know, you're not gonna see one of those snakes and be cool, calm, and collected. No. But instead of you, like, you might, but instead of like going off the rails and going crazy, you just pull out your flute and start playing it, and the snake just goes to sleep, and then you're able to kind of get past it, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting. Because the snake charmers were used to help get past snakes that guard treasures, right? It's not snakes you see in the wild. It's snakes that are guarding things that are important. You know what I mean? And recently I've been learning that snakes kind of represent divine femininity, the goddess, you know, because there was some video on TikTok that showed that when snakes open up their mouth fully, it looks like a yoni. And if you don't know what a yoni is, child, I don't tell you, look it up yourself, right? The feminine genitalia, fine, I'll tell you, right? When the snakes open up their mouth looks like that. And it's like a portal to another world. Women literally birth new life from their yoni. Like, women are powerful, they're the creators. And the Empress represents the energy of being able to desire, not even desire, manifest whatever you desire. I said it wrong. That kind of thing. Okay, so I'm not even having to pull from the cards, child. Everything is just coming to me. I feel like the more I do tarot, the more it gets like that. Spirit's like, here's an example. You don't need the cards, right? Yeah, and it's funny how I was talking about a snake charmer, and I look down and I see Oz, and he was a musician in the show. And he just plays music, and, you know, the pants is coming off, panties or whatever you want to call them, were coming off the girls, right? And I'm trying to remember what made him and Willow break up. I think it was Willow realized that she liked girls. I'm like, I don't think Oz liked guys. But he was real cool. And, yo, I'm seeing the episode of Buffy where Oz first sets his sights on Willow, and how everybody like just keeps coming up to him and shaking hands with him. And it's either at a show or in school where they're at. And he's just this, like, not even the center of attention, but he has that cool, chill, zen vibe to him. And it's like he doesn't speak too loud, but his presence is known. You know, he makes an impact wherever he goes, and everyone around him was like, "Hey, Oz, hey, 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 hey," and he was just trying to talk to Willow and chill with her and get to know her, and she was trying to hide from him when they first met. She was like more of like a wallflower and awkward kind of energy, but there was something so nurturing and beautiful and caring and kind about him. He wasn't a pushover. He wasn't someone to be taken advantage of or to take advantage. But there was something about him being really sweet and kind of coaxing Willow out of her shell, you know. And then she kind of, you know, not got sprung on him. That's a tall tale. But she ended up, you know, being with him for a minute, right? So that's that kind of energy. You have that very zen, cool, calm, and collected energy to you. And when you get people like, you know, chill or sleep, right? Like you do with the snakes when you charm the snakes. That's when you attack, or that's when you go for the treasure and get what you want, right? So while other people maybe like distract people, you're the one who's like making them go to sleep, and then you're attacking, right? All these things coming through. Snake charmer could be code word spirit is saying for something else as well. Snakes and things like that, you know, you're charming those snakes. Yeah. If you don't understand what I'm saying, this is a verse coming through from the Nicki Minaj song. Something put his ASS to sleep. Now you calling me NyQuil. So you be putting it on people and they just be knocked out after snoring, hand on their belly, like real loud snores. They knocked, okay? After they've done with a session with you, child. That's funny. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. I feel like I don't have more cards to pull from. This is how I get distracted. Okay, my group ones. Please, Spirit, how do they charm people? We have the Seven of Scythes. You're private, and people I tend to realize that are more private and everyone doesn't know their business, more people are interested in knowing their business. So you mind your business. Like I said, Oz, he was just chilling, trying to talk to Willow in that one scene in the show, and everyone kept walking up to him, passing him on the hallway, saying, "Hey, hi, what up?" kind of energy, because he was cool. He was in a band, but he wasn't the cocky son of a bee that be in the band. No, he was a very chill one, you know, down to earth one. But the Seven of Swords kind of talks about you being sneaky or people not knowing enough about you that they want to know more. Right? I do believe you tend to come out of conversations hearing more than you said until someone brings up something you love, and then you become more animated, right? But you're the listener as opposed to the speaker, you know, or the initiator, the one that's bringing up the conversation. You don't start stuff, but you dang sure gonna finish it, right? That's how you charm people. You make them think that you're not dangerous, and then you strike. Interesting. Okay. Here we have the Ace of Stakes. You would get the devil guy or the evil demon guy from the musical episode. This is the Nine of Chalices, the Nine of Cups. So like you give them exactly what they didn't know they needed, or exactly what they did need. But the Ace of Stakes coming through here, look at how we have the hand wrapped around the stake. What was I saying about you being a snake, wink, wink, shove, shove, charmer? Okay. That's enough out of me. We're going to pull these cards up. You had enough time to look into them. There's like a smoke and mirrors effect that you give off. You're giving Aaron Burr talk less, smile more, you know, where he said he did say it, but his whole mantra was talk less, smile more, don't let them know what you're against or what you're for, right? And this Seven of Swords can come through sometimes to me as like the slimy politician who says all these things but without saying much at all, you know? And that's kind of what Burr was about in life, which is why Hamilton had beef with him, because he's like, no one knows who you are or what you do or something like that, or what you believe in essentially, you know? And then somewhere in the play, Burr tells Hamilton, they don't have to like me, they don't like you. So just using whatever you do or whatever you can to get ahead could be something. So sneaky vibes, right? But the fact that we have this Nine of Cups coming through here, this is the guy who made everyone on the show dance until they combusted, right? He was the singer, the charmer. He had the deep, smooth voice. But he looked very scary. I mean, they made him look more charming than he did in the show. He was a very dirty looking thing. Okay, but the musical episode, is where this guy came in, where he made people dance until they unalive themselves, you know? He made them dance and sing until they couldn't dance and sing anymore, so that you could be a musician or a performer in that way, or in that regard, where you make people dance and sing and forget their worries, you know? Like I said, you're charming the snakes asleep and making them forget that they were supposed to be guarding the secret treasure. You know what I mean? You could be like a bard, you know, someone who kind of who went around back in the days, who went around from town to town singing and dancing and entertaining people. That could also be what makes you very charming. Okay. But the fact that we have two musical cards coming through in the Buffy world is definitely telling me that music, singing, song, dance could definitely be how you charm people. You're quite the character. Okay. Anything else I want to pull from? Yeah, I wanted to pull from the mermaid. This is not even the mermaid deck. I put the wrong decks in the wrong boxes. Wow. Maybe this is just the one wrong card. No, this is the whole deck. This is the fairy tarot deck, and I put it in the mermaid oracle deck box. That is so, like, that never happened to me before. Wow. But anyway, I guess we'll get some cards from here. I wanted to use the mermaid because, like, siren, charming, under your spell, you know, vibe. But I guess the fairies wanted to talk. So for my group ones, please, Spirit, how do they charm people, cast them under their spell? Mind your own. So you're definitely minding your own business. But looking. You're definitely looking and listening. Like I said, you know everybody else's business because you listen instead of talk. If someone's telling you tea, you just listening, but you're not giving them any tea in return, child. Period. I felt that. So everybody carry around everybody business but yours. And that's that Seven of Swords there. People want to know what's going on with group one, but they can't. And that's all a part of the charm. That's all a part of the appeal. That's all a part of the show, Smoke and Mirrors. You see me, you think you know me. I'm a performer. The same way we kind of bond so deeply with celebrities in life, and we really don't know them. We don't know who they are, what they are behind this facade they put on for the world. But we sure do love them. We sure do laud them and give them praise. And we're so charmed by them, but we don't know nothing about them besides what they show us, you know? And that's the kind of vibe coming through for you guys, where you can be a celebrity, you perform, and you kind of put people under your spell when you're on stage. You put them in a trance, and as soon as you snap your finger, they wake up, right? So maybe hypnotic or hypnotist kind of vibe is how you charm people. Like I said, you lull them into a false sense of safety, and then you strike when it may be necessary, you know? Here we have lay the foundation. Like I said, you're a hard worker. That definitely came through already. You're a hard worker. Like, I wish maybe I should put the box there. So I'm like, you're not really seeing the cards, and that's pissing me off. That doesn't help either. Oh, man. Maybe this will help. Yeah, that's much better. Because the light from the window is helping, but also hindering from you guys from seeing the cards. Okay, so for my group ones, please, Spirit. How do they charm people, put them under their spell? Some of you are giving me trickster vibes. And now all of a sudden, when I think of tricksters, I think of the trickster god or Archangel Gabriel from Supernatural, and how he had Dean and Sam thinking that he was a trickster god for 5 seasons until they realized in season 5 that he's really an archangel, which is why whenever they tried to kill that man, he wouldn't die, he wouldn't stay dead. They would use this big huge stake and shove it into his chest, and then he would just come back and appear in another town. And that's just hilarious. Like, they did not know who that man was until 5 years, we're gonna assume, of knowing him, you know, 5 seasons of knowing of him, because they didn't know nothing about him, not even his name. They would just see him, he would pop up, and then he would like pretend to die and then pop back up again. That is hilarious. And then they finally realize, once we meet the angels in Supernatural, that he was an angel the whole time and they didn't know how to kill angels. So it would make sense why he always got away and would just run somewhere else. But he loved tormenting them, you know? He loved seeing them squirm. And then he would finally like relent. You know what I mean? See, that could be something coming through again. Teasing, if we're looking at the 18+ version of it, right? You leave them squirming, begging, right? And that's also what happened in an episode of Supernatural where Gabriel kept unaliving Dean the whole episode until Sam just kind of went crazy, right? And begged him to save his brother, essentially. But yeah, that's what's coming through here. Maybe that's what is, you know, yeah. Maybe you do that. You kind of bait and switch until people are like begging you for something, right? So like I said, it's giving, you're definitely a teaser, okay? In every sense of the word. But when it comes to the bedroom, when it comes to outside the bedroom, who knows? Okay, this card just flipped over. We have gold at the end of the rainbow. So yeah, you're people's wish at the end of the day. There's something about you that people wish they had at home. You know, it's kind of like when people say, I want McDonald's, and the parents say, we have McDonald's at the house. No, we dang sure don't. We want the real thing. We want the name brand thing, okay? We want the fancy thing. We want fancy feasts. We don't want no regular burger. And you know what I mean? We want the real thing. Let me switch these cards so you can see this one a little bit more. So there's like some kind of magic to you. And that's kind of what I was saying about you're really good at getting what you want. And then here we have the elements. So you embody all different types of things. We have, I'm assuming this is fire, this is earth, this is water, and then this is air. Hold on, let me see if I can show it to you better. All the elements in one. So all the elements of each suit kind of come through for you guys. So maybe you're someone who's multifaceted, or a shapeshifter. Or maybe you're someone who embodies all these energies, you know, really well. You're able to be everything and all. So maybe you are kind of given God status, you know, not to big up your head or anything, but that's kind of what I'm getting here for you guys. You're very good at what you do. You're very talented, very creative, okay? And it's coming through as the arts. Is coming through as the arts for me, okay? So we're going to put these back, and then we're going to move on to this next deck. This is the Horror Oracle, so be prepared to see. Ooh, thought you were going to fall, eh? Negatory. You could be someone who has interesting commentary. Because I normally do, but I'm more aware of it now. After I say things, I'm like, oh, regular people don't say things like that, you know? So you're seen as extraordinary, not just regular, okay? But yeah, let's get some cards from here. Like, I feel like I can't even, because the book is not here. I'm like, I want to read from the elements. I can't, because I have the book for the mermaids. Oh, what a blunder. Okay. Why am I hearing Hamilton? What a blunder. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I even bring the thunder. Why he even brings the thunder. So maybe you're giving Thomas Jefferson vibes. You're quite refined, sophisticated. You have a expensive palate. You like the nice things in life, and you make people believe in their impossible dreams becoming a reality because you're literally living your dreams, right? Where the bumble clock card went. But this is the first card. We have combination. We have combination, then we have elements. That's kind of what's coming through here. You're a bunch of different things. You're an enigma that people want to solve. And here we have dreams, Freddy Krueger coming through. So there is something here about achieving dreams. The Nightmare on Elm Street is what he's from, right? I'm not a horror girly. Here we have combination, and then we have Freddy Krueger. I don't know who this is. It's something with a fly. My group ones, please spare my group ones. How do they charm people, put them under their spell? These are the worst cards to use for that because these are all gory scenes in movies. But we'll see what comes through. Please spare. Ooh. You come and shake things up. The way the camera just did all that for no reason. Nothing else. Like, why did it just get really dark? Stop, don't piss me off. No, nothing else. Can I get one more card, please? Spirit, one more card? No. Y'all said way more cards. And then here we have book. It says, let me in. Book. And at the bottom, we have ice. Let me show you. At the bottom of the deck, we have ice. So like I said with the Hermit, you're very knowledgeable. You're very smart. You know a lot about a lot of things, okay? Here we have dreams. You follow your dreams, right? That kind of came through. Maybe you're kind of a little bit unreal, it seems. Because dreams, but I mean, you are real. Because the whole thing or the lore behind Freddy Krueger is if he unalives you in your sleep, you are unalived in real life. And how is that possible? You know what I mean? So you're powerful beyond anyone's imagination. They don't know how things are possible. They don't know how you get things done. They don't know who you truly are. And that's powerful. Because people can't come to your house and put nothing on you. People can't call your name and wish you bad things. People can't send evil eye your way if they don't know who you are. What you're about, where you come from, right? That kind of thing is coming through. If people don't know where you live, they can't send nothing your way or come pop up at your house on a regular day because they want to, you know? That kind of thing is almost like you don't seem real, but you very much are real because the things you do and say and promise happen. So you're not a dream, okay? But this combination is kind of confusing me. Let's see if I can get any more clarification on that. I know you're not here making all this blasted noise. If I don't hush. Combination. Oh, The Fly is the name of the scary movie. Most people would give anything to be turned into something else. And it's also kind of giving me fly on the wall. How people wish they were a fly on the wall in the bedroom you be at, right? Because you know, it's kind of giving me gossip. People hear things about you, but it's never really, that's kind of what it's giving, like, not even a facade, but like a mystique about you, where people are like, they hear things about you all the time, but they don't ever really know if it's true. People could gossip about you. There's whispers of your, you know, your power. There's whispers of your name, of what you can do, like stuff like that. Or people go and see a show and people are like, oh my gosh, this person is so talented. But then people see you and it's kind of like, I've never seen that. They've never expressed that to me. How is that true? But this person's like, I promise you they really are. And they're kind of like, I don't know. But the fact that someone is there saying, yes, you did do that. You did rock their world. You did do that. You charmed them. You helped them. You wow them. Is proof. Like Freddy Krueger, if someone show up unalive from having a dream, you know it's real, but you don't know until you see it for yourself, you know? Until he show up in your dreams, try to come get you. And then you won't believe, right? You're going to be running for your life. Child, don't poke the bear. Maybe they say there's danger to you. And people are like, I don't believe it. They're Queen of Pentacles. She's the nicest person around, right? Oh my gosh. Don't even start with me. It's giving that freaking meme on social media. What about the people he murdered? And then the guys are like, what? He was the nicest guy around. Like, okay, sir, we understand. You're lying. You know what I mean? That's kind of what is coming through here. The people are telling you, but what about the people that we heard they did this to and did that to and da-da-da-da, whether it's good or bad things? And people are like, what? Like, let me not get started on that again, because that used to be my whole personality for a few months. It's so funny to me because he obviously did something to somebody and you on TV, bold-faced. Like, shut up. He's the nicest guy around. Yeah, okay. So people will be saying stuff about you and people are like, I don't believe it. They didn't do that. They didn't rock your world. They didn't outperform you, outsell you, outsmart you. They didn't do that. Yeah, they did. And I didn't know what was happening until after it was over, which makes it even weirder, right? I didn't know that I was being charmed until I was sleeping, right? I didn't know I was being flirted with until I was out of my panties or out of my drawers. Like, funny. That is funny to me, okay? Y'all are funny to me, okay? Anywho, combination. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So in our closest relationships, we can sometimes take on each other's habits and quirks, even start to resemble each other without realizing it. This can be for the better or for the worse. Some take comfort in feeling inseparable in the ultimate union. Others find it a little creepy. Upright, we can help each other be human. Reversed, be afraid. Be very afraid. That's funny. Okay, so we have that coming through. So you're definitely someone who people see on the surface and say, oh, they're harmless. But then people are like, no, they not. they just about suck my soul up on my body. And they're like, her, she looks so innocent. Him, he looks so dorky. And they're like, trust, they did. And I would go back happily again and again and again. Okay, so yeah, there's something here about that. Your charms, your smarts, your wits, your talent, that's coming through. And you may come off as someone who looks regular or unassuming, but best believe there is some power. Okay, so we're going to get some cards. Well, since the dang, that's the only light we're getting now. Got to move that again. So I'm going to use this new deck that I got the other day, the Witch's Familiar. It's Runic Oracle. I guess we're going to see which rune and animal combo you get. And then that will be all, folks. Oop, that was fast. We have Lagoos and we have the seahorse. So maybe unconventional, because all I think about when I see seahorses is the fact that the male seahorses are the ones that carry the babies. And people are like, that's impossible. Explain then. Okay. And then I always get taken to the freaking Fairly Odd Parents, where Cosmo carried the baby instead of Wanda. Okay, let me get the book. I'm not that good with runes yet, but I'm sure using this deck will help me. I always wanted to learn how to read runes, but I taught myself tarot. I can teach myself runes. It's going to take some time, though. We have Lagoos, which is a Seahorse 42. And if you know anything about runes, I guess this rune is ruled by Tyr, Tyr. I'm pretty sure that's a specific Norse god or something. Or a goddess, I'm not sure. What was the 42? There it is. So, floating in the great waters, this tiny seahorse feels the current's ebbs and flows in this great universal ocean of life. And in her softly shifting dream state, she knows the unity of all life and the connection that flows through past, present, and future. In her world, water is everywhere, pervading all things, the living energy source of everything. She is a symbol of the unconscious, of invisible life forces, the dream state, and hidden aspects of self. Lagoos is a powerful rune in the way water is powerful, fluid, and ever-changing. It calls you to release the struggle and go with the flow, right? And water is also quite tranquil and peaceful too. So that's the kind of energy, but on the flip side, it can be dangerous and drown you, you know? So it just depends on who you are. So you're equal parts dangerous, but cool, calm, and collected, and, you know, sophisticated, you know? I'm hearing silent killer or silent weapon or something like that, or lethal weapon, something, okay? So sorry, I keep stopping. It calls you to release the struggle and go with the flow. Spend time in meditation and allow your deeper intuition or intuitive state to speak to or guide you. Lagoos reminds you that on life's journey, not all can be controlled, and change is the only constant. Without change, life becomes stagnant. So the keywords are flow, memory, dreams coming through again, the unconscious, fate, and karma. So there's something here about you being as powerful as fate and karma. Like you're not one to be messed with, not one to be trifled with. So there's something here about the word of mouth, people kind of spreading your lore instead of you doing it yourself. You know what I mean? Your spell is the stories and the things people say about you. That's what makes you charming, you know? How people speak about how great you are. How people speak about how scary you are, how talented you are. People are like, you're exaggerating. He was the nicest guy around. He didn't do such things. And I bet you he did. this person is so talented. You have to see them perform. Nobody's that talented. I'm sure I've seen it all before. And then they see someone like you. It's kind of giving like a Michael Jackson kind of thing. You can see how wonderful and beautiful and great he was, but it wasn't until you were on stage. You know what I mean? You just see, yes, that's a perfect example as well, where you see him off stage, he's quiet, he was always speaking in very dulcet, very soft, almost whispery tones, very innocent, very like childlike. And then you see that man on stage grabbing his crotch and thrusting his hips and singing at the top of his lungs and sweating and doing all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, is this the same guy that I met 2 minutes ago that was quiet and shy and all these things? No. This is a completely different human. And people are going to be saying that, oh my gosh, she looks so sweet and innocent, but they're not. They're a demon and they be on demon time, I promise. And their friends are like, her? Nah. Him? Girl, stop lying. And they're like, I promise you they did this, but they flipped it and reversed it. They put my thing down, flipped it and reversed it. Here, shame for my for yet. Okay, I'm done. Let me stop. But that's the kind of energy that's coming through. How water can be unassuming. Oh, it's just water. What is water going to do? Water can choke you, can get inside if you want to choke you, can drown you. It can also nourish you, right? Hydrate you. So there's a good and there's bad. And there's a fine line when it comes to you guys. Okay? So some people get the bad, some people get the good, but it's your reputation and the mystery that surrounds you that makes you very charming and powerful. Because everyone wants to know more about who you are and kind of prove them wrong or right. They want to know. They want to be in business. And you're either going to let them or not. It just depends. Okay? So let me leave you reading right here. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 2s. Welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me here in today's reading. Today, we're going to get right into the topic of how do people charm? No, not how do you charm people? Stop playing. We're going to get right into the topic of how do you charm people / cast them or put them under your spell. We're doing more Halloween themed spooky readings, and I'm going to be using a lot more of my Halloween themed decks, right? Or spooky themed decks. So let's get right into it. How do you charm people / put them under your spell? That was kind of a doofy shuffle. So I'm using the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Tarot. And if this is your first time on my channel, you haven't been here long, you should know that I'm utterly obsessed with Buffy. And I use examples from the show quite a lot because they help me explain the reading better. Okay, I already used one for group 1, so let's get into it. Expect references from the show. If you've never seen it, then it will still make sense at the end of the day, but it would be nice if you saw the seasons. It's such a good show. Why haven't you watched it? So we have the 4 of Swords, and then we have the Tower in reverse. You're kind of giving me similar energy to group 1. Here we have the 6 of Stakes, right? No, yeah. 6 of Stakes, which is, this is not usually the depiction of the 6 of Wands, but I guess we'll leave it there. Then we have the King of Stakes. Xander's the King of Stakes. That's laughable. That man had not, okay, maybe he had a little bit of entitlement in his bones, in his body, but he wasn't giving no suave, mente kind of energy. He was a nerd. Let me stop. My leg. But he did think he was supposed to be, he was born to be a freaking Lothario, a Don Juan. Group 2, please spread. How do they charm people / put them under their spell? So it's your confidence. It's the energy you put out into the world. Okay. Maybe you're a bit goofy. Very attractive. And then here we have the 6 of Swords. Very interesting. These cards coming out for what puts you under people's spell. So I guess we'll start off with the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords is a very rest-oriented card. It's about rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, taking time to heal. So maybe you heal people, you know? There's something here about being at rest or feeling not so tired or worn out in your energy. So maybe you kind of replenish people's energy, and that's what makes you so charming. Or that's like one of your powers, one of your charms, is when people are around you, you kind of give a social battery to them. Instead of making them tired, you make them more aware, more soothed, you know? So if someone comes to you upset about something, when they leave, they're not going to be upset. Some people, when someone comes to them upset about something, they leave even more upset. Because you want to come with an attitude. Now I'm going to get an attitude. I'm going to catch your attitude. Now we both have attitudes and now we're fighting. You know, you're the kind of person someone can come to you and they're in a pissy mood. They're upset. They're mad about something or sad about something. And they kind of leave in better spirits, you know. The Four of Swords always gives me like meditating, right? Connecting with higher vibes. It's giving very spiritual, very like yogi, master, zen, going to a retreat and talking about our problems and being in a friendly, is it like a circle, a therapy circle, and like going around the circle and telling everyone what you're going through kind of thing. That's the kind of person you are. So you charm people by drawing out their darkest secrets is the kind of thing. You make them think that they're safe. Not make them think, maybe they could be safe with you. I don't know you. But it's like you make them feel safe enough to tell their deepest, darkest secrets. And that's something that it's quite scary because your deepest, darkest secrets can get you in trouble in the wrong hands. So people's guards are immediately let down around you. You know, they feel confident in you as a person because we also have the Six of Wands, which is someone who can be described as being quite popular, you know? They're widely loved. Everyone likes them. No one has a problem with them, right? So that is that very charming personality. And I do believe that is kind of what got Xander buying the show, because Xander, if you don't know, is the male character who is one of Buffy's best friends. And Buffy is the main character. There was nothing special about him. He wasn't overly smart. He wasn't overly cool. You know, Willow had her smarts and then she ended up being a witch. Buffy was a dang slayer, right? Giles had his library and his knowledge and his books, right? Every character had their thing. But he was just Xander, right? He was kind of chill, laid back, really goofy. Didn't take things seriously all the time, right? He kind of lightened the mood whenever you needed a quick laugh. He was there making people laugh. You know what I mean? He was also someone who was, I don't know, quite comfortable in who he was as a person. He wasn't trying to be anybody else. He wished like life was better and that he was different, but he wouldn't have like, you wouldn't have known it unless you knew him like personally, I guess you could say. So when it comes to how you charm people, it's like if you believe in something, you make other people believe in it too, as long as you believe in it. I guess that makes sense. Like I'm trying to decipher Xander as a character, and I'm just like, I just get goofball, but very loyal, a very loyal friend. Someone who would have like went into the fire trying to protect Buffy. You know, even Willow, stop playing. He would have protected his people that he cared about. You know what I mean? But he was like a regular person, you know? So we have the Tower in reverse. And I feel like the Tower upright represents chaos. It represents life crumbling around us. The Tower in reverse is kind of like stitching things back up together. You know how sometimes when you're watching movies and it's like a magical movie or like an Avengers movie or whatever, and here comes the bad guys, and then there's like a rift in the middle of the world, you know, and everything's like breaking apart, and like the rocks are like opening up, and you're seeing all this lava bubbling in between the, you know, chasm. And then all of a sudden when someone who has magic comes and they kind of wave their hand over it and the earth stitches itself back together, that's the kind of energy that's coming through for you guys. You reverse any damage, you know what I mean? So it's kind of giving you're giving a little bit of a therapist. I think that's ultimately their job, right? To put you into lull you into a sense of security so you could tell them your deepest, darkest secrets. So you're kind of giving like the priest at the Catholic Church, where people are like, okay, he's not going to judge me, only God can judge me. And then you tell them everything bad that you did that week, right? I don't really know much about that. I didn't grow up Catholic, but I've seen enough shows, I feel like, okay? That's the kind of energy coming through. You're someone who can be trusted. Your trust is your I was going to say strongest currency, but most expensive currency. The fact that people can trust you, to be loyal, to be there for them, to be ride or die for them, is the kind of thing coming through. If you're going to do something crazy, one thing about Xander, he was like, oh, when are we going? What were you doing? And Buffy's like, no, Xander, stay here. You're a human. You can get hurt. I don't care. I can get hurt. It's fine. I need to be there for my friends. And he would find a way to be there, even if Buffy was like, no, sit down. And he would still come and help her. Willow and freaking Xander and Giles and risked themselves how many times to make sure Buffy was okay. And I think that's the kind of energy you embody, okay? Then we have the Six of Wands, which is a very, like I said, all eyes on you, everyone likes you kind of thing. No matter what you do, you could do no wrong is what is coming through, because there's like a glamour over you, a glamour over you that kind of portrays the world what they want them. Hold on, how can I describe this? You kind of portrays, so you're like not a reflection. I don't know, the embodiment of what people want to be, what they strive to be kind of thing. And when they look at you, it's kind of like they're placing all their hopes and dreams or what they want you to be onto you instead of actually seeing you for you. I hope that makes sense. You know, it's like expectations. You put your expectations on this guy to come in and love you and treat you the way you deserve to be treated. But you're kind of like, he didn't show you that he would do those things. You're just, expecting him to do that until he shows that he doesn't do that or he won't do that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like people look at you and like place these expectations or these, they place who they want you to be on you instead of who you actually are sometimes, right? Like I said, Xander is not King of Wands worthy. I don't think so. And they put him on the King of Wands, and it's kind of like, why would they do that? And it's because while some people may look at Xander and see someone who was charming and confident and loved girls and was like someone who was like very serious and goofy, when you look more into who his character is as a person, you kind of see the flaws and, the cracks in his character and his demeanor. But it's like the King of Wands is like a tall order for Xander or his character anyway. So how do you charm people, put them under their spell? You make them see what you want them to see instead of who you may actually be. That's a better way to put it. Instead of saying people place what they want you to be onto you, no. Who you want yourself to be, you're good at faking it till you make it. Putting on that false sense of bravado and making people think you have it all together, That's the kind of energy coming through here. It's kind of like people will follow you blindly and trust you with anything. And that is King of Wands energy, period. Despite Xander being the person on the card, it doesn't matter. The King of Wands is someone who is kind of like a Trump person. He ain't ish. He ain't. But people follow him anyway. You're flawed. And I think your flaws are what makes you like relatable and people want to like support you and rally behind you. People love an underdog. People love authenticity. You're someone who is 100% authentic. You're not telling someone that you are who you're not. Okay. You could also be like a fixer. If for my spiritual people coming through, you like help people fix their problems. It's the vibe that's coming through with the chasm I'm seeing being mended in the Tower card. You know what I mean? Like I said, when we have those scenes in movies and like there's this big, everything is like broken, the glass is broken. Once glass is broken, there's nothing you can do to fix it unless you rewind time to before the glass is broken. And then it becomes new again, So that's kind of what I'm getting. You absolve people of their sins. You make them feel more human isn't the proper word. You wash them of their sins and make them feel more pure. That's what's coming through for you guys. And I don't know what you could possibly be doing. It's kind of giving me someone who uses YouTube or something as an escape for life. What I'm hearing and seeing right now is an episode of Good Mythical Morning. I love Rhett and Link. If anyone else does, let me know in the comments. I love them so much. To the point that even my grandma will be watching them. I'm like, excuse me, this is my show. Mind your business. But anyway, I remember there was one episode, and I think it was during the pandemic or something, and they said they don't like to use their platform to talk about, or it was like maybe during the political climate when things were heated, and they weren't talking about their political views, or they weren't talking about anything, and people were putting heat on them because they're like, you have so many people following behind you. You have so many people who look up to you. Why would you not say anything or speak out against what's going on here, there, and everywhere? And they're kind of like, when people come to our channel, we want them to be able to forget the rest of the world. We don't want to bring what's going on in the world or what's wrong in the world to this blasted video. We're meant to be an escape for them. We're here to make jokes and make people laugh and make them happy. We're not here to give them more things to worry about or give them more information that we are probably not even properly able or qualified enough to give. When it comes to this space we have here, we're talking about which country has the best noodles. We're talking about who can hit the dart closest to the country who has the best noodle. We're talking about games and laughs and goofing off. And yes, we're two grown men with kids and wives, but that's not what we want you to feel or think of when you're here. We want you to escape reality for a little bit. And I respected them for that, because I was also kind of someone who's like, you have this big platform. Why are you not talking about things in the world that needs talking about? And then they did that episode where it's like, when people come to here, we don't want them to think about those things. We want to be an escape for them. And I kind of feel like that's what's coming through here. You know what I mean? You're giving a little bit of Rhett and Link where they're goofballs, but when it comes time to be serious, they are. You don't see it quite often, but when you get glimpses of it, you definitely like, oh, I like that person, you know? They're just living life, eating food, being best friends on the internet, and it made them a fortune. Goofing off, laughing, right? And they come from humble beginnings. They also come from they used to be engineers, so they have to be some smarts up there, but that's not what they base their content or their life or their world around. It's more so about being relatable. It's more so about being kind of like a escape, right? Someone who can come and watch your your video and forget about how trashy or crappy the world was today. And that's what you provide, you know? So yeah, that's also what this Six of Swords is giving, some kind of healing, or there's a word that I'm trying to think of. Some kind of healing or refuge, right? Even people who are outcasts or people who are seen as weird can come and find solace in your arms. So you kind of attract a little bit of everybody, but not even just that, you make everybody feel comfortable around you, you know? You could also like to sleep a lot. That's something that's coming through. You love your sleep. But then, yeah, we have the King of Wands, which is that person who's able to get anybody rallying behind their, how can I describe it? Their cause, their purpose. You know what I mean? People literally buy a pin every month from Rhett and Link because they say, hey, we have pins, buy them, right? So there's something a little bit influential about you, but it's not obvious. It's very subtle, but also not. I don't know how to describe it. I hope it makes sense to you, okay? You see Rhett and Link, like I said, they're giving dads, but they're very attractive dads. They're very funny dads. They're also best friends, and it's kind of like the more you know about them, the more you see someone who is just real, authentic, raw. Oh my gosh, maybe you're a little crude, because I just heard a joke in my mind. I would have said it myself, y'all, honestly, but raw. And I'm like, that's how they can get it, right? Because they're attractive. I like them. They're cute. Like, my favorite is Link, but Rhett can get it too, right? It's kind of like raw. That's how they can hit it, raw. Yeah. And you make dirty, crude jokes like that, and people are kind of like, you're a good time. You're making me laugh and hee-haw and guffaw like I've never guffawed before. And I can just escape and have a good little session here with you and then go about my day. And those endorphins that were released when they were here with you on your channel and your presence follows them throughout the rest of life. So you're the kind of person that's having someone laugh themselves out of their drawers. Like, you meet somebody at the club, at the bar, or whatever. You're talking the whole night. I'm just tickled. You're funny, or you tickle people. There's just something very charming and giddy and cute and funny about you, right? And that's how you put people under your spell. But I'm seeing someone who just comes and meets you at the bar or whatever. And then you meet them, you're talking to them. The more they get to know you, the more they're kind of like their shoulders are now easing. It's not up to their ears anymore. Then they see themselves like getting into conversation with you. Oh, this person's pretty funny. Yeah. And then before you know it, they're waking up in bed with you the next day, naked, in your house. Like, how did I get here? And they're like, oh, I know how I got here and I'm not mad at it. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? That's the kind of energy. Even if you do somebody wrong, they're not going to be mad at you. I don't see a hate train on YouTube or Rhett and Link the way you see it for some of the other people out there. Because there's nothing fake or putting on or just for show about them. They tell about their life. They also have like a podcast called Ear Biscuits, where they tell embarrassing stories, very relatable stories, very relevant stories, and that's kind of where they talk about more serious topics. But as long as you're on Good Mythical Morning and Good Mythical More, they're gonna be acting a fool. Best believe they're gonna be having the best props. They're gonna be very good at their jobs, and their jobs are being influencers. So like I said, they have like a monthly subscription where you get a pin every month, and best believe the pins be sold out. You're gonna be like, who's gonna be buying a pin every month from these guys, people, right? They have swashed them in their, like, I don't know, world, you know? You're giving an influencer kind of energy where people are like, oh, I like this person. Yeah, I could sit here for a little bit. And then you end up watching 5 hours of their videos, 5 hours of their shorts. And you're kind of like, how did I get here? And it's because someone was like, you were so safe in their energy at that moment that you could just forget the rest of the world. You know what I mean? I'm hearing that song from Sky High. I'll stop the world and melt with you. You know, we've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you. That kind of thing, okay? But the King of Wands is someone who is so confident about what they can do and what they can bring and do and achieve in the world that you're just following behind them because they believe it so wholeheartedly. So do I. I have to believe you. I can't doubt you. That's how charming and charismatic you are. That's a very dangerous energy. That's why it's you casting them under your spell, because they're following you to the ends of the earth. You say buy something, they're buying it. How much? They say jump, you're saying how high. You know what I mean? That's the kind of energy coming through. So you're giving those influencers who are so relatable, okay, so down to earth, so sweet, so normal, that you have no choice but to like them. Like I said, that's what made Xander. He didn't turn into a witch. He didn't become all powerful. He just stayed goofy, regular Xander. And he was loved. You know what I mean? He was ride or die, you know? So yeah. So basically, when the world is falling apart, you build and bring people back together is kind of what I'm getting. There could be something here about you being a little bit of an outcast, or yeah, it's like when you were growing up, you knew what it was like to be outcasted, which is kind of how Xander felt. Yeah, because we have the werewolf here, and werewolves are known for changing or shifting every full moon. And then it's also reminding me of, what's his name? Remus Lupin, yes, from Harry Potter, how he was very studious, very stoic, kept to himself, was a little shy, but not really. He was kind of like an observer, but I do feel like he knew what it was like to be on the outcast, on the outskirts, just looking in. So he made it like his mission to make Harry feel as at home as he could. You know, he was very much a protector, and he made everybody feel safe. He was also quite powerful, you know. It makes sense because he used to be up to some mischief in his youth, you know? So it's kind of like you used to be really mischievous when you were younger, like the Xander character, the Remus Lupin, who was famously a part of the Marauders, you know what I mean? With Harry's dad and Sirius. That kind of thing. That's what's coming through for you guys. You used to be mischievous. The older you got, you still are mischievous. You still are a little bit like, I'm up to no good. You know what I mean? The world is my oyster. I can do whatever I want. The perfect word is kind of like entitled, right? Because Xander, I feel like he felt like because he was a certain way that he deserved to have Buffy and be with her. It's kind of like giving that white man audacity, right? I've used white woman audacity on this channel, but there's nothing not black, let me stop. Oh my God, gosh, no, you guys are funny. You guys are funny. Stop it. I'll explain in a second. But it's kind of like nothing beats the misogynisticness of or the superiority of or I deserve the worldness of a white man, a cisgender white male in America. Oh, there's nothing like that entitlement they have, right? But anyway, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos. I swear there's always one group that gets straight memes as like examples. And I'm like, I hope you get this. I hope you understand it. Okay. How can I describe it? So essentially there's like a video on social media where not even during the Avengers, because it featured more than just Avenger people. So basically, there's Black people and then there's white people, and any chance a white person says anything like black or dark, the Black people in the room are kind of like, excuse me? And it's so funny to me because people are so ridiculous in life, bro. So there's one example of Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon. Okay, he was coming up to Elizabeth Olsen like to hug her or whatever, and she was like, oh, I almost didn't see you, because something black. And he said, what did you call me? And she looks like she doesn't know what to say because she knows it's a joke, but it's also like, oh, whenever something about race comes up, it's kind of like, oh my gosh. But he made it a funny thing, and I was like dying. And then there's another one where I think it's like with Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield, and they're on the press run for Spider-Man, right? And then Andrew Garfield says something about something being dark. And Jamie Foxx is like, excuse me? And then when Andrew understands what he means, he has no idea, like, to roll his eyes and laugh because it's funny, but it's kind of like it caught you off guard, and something that's usually taken as, oh my gosh, you're being so serious, like, race and da-da-da-da. They're making it into something that's funny. That's kind of what I'm getting. So when I said, like, I forgot what I said over here, it reminded me of those, like, videos on social media. So maybe you guys have seen it, maybe you haven't, but I feel like I explained it well enough for you guys to understand why it's so funny, right? So you're just having a conversation like, oh my gosh, last night was so dark, but the person you're talking to was black. They're like, excuse me, what did you call me? Like, it's just so funny because it's just, who thinks of stuff like that? You know what I mean? So you're a bit of a comedian where you make things that are not supposed to be funny. When the world is falling apart, you make it seem like, you make it a little bit better, You put a Band-Aid over the huge chasm in someone's heart or sorrows or pain. You kind of stitch them back together, you know what I mean? Someone who, how sometimes, even what I was talking about, where I was like, there's like a chasm in the earth and the person kind of like waves their hand over it and fixes the chasm. I'm kind of seeing a healer, and how if someone has like a big bruise or like a slice in their skin where you can kind of see like marrow and bone and you know what I mean? And someone kind of like waves their hand over it and the wound almost kind of closes up on itself, right? So being around you is so very healing. Like I said, you make people let their guard down and talk about things they normally wouldn't talk about. And that's just that's the charisma you carry around. You have that riz to you, okay? So let's keep going. What's the next card I'm going to pull from? I'm going to pull from, I have a chance to get it and I didn't. You know what? I'm going to do it. So for group 1, I think I just paused it exactly on 555. I'm not sure, but that could be something coming through. That could be a message for someone. But I intended to use the Mermaids Oracle deck for everyone, but I had accidentally put this deck of cards in the Fairies deck. So when I brought the Mermaids deck in here for group 1, it had the Fairies deck in it instead. And I'm like, oh no, because mermaids and the sirens are supposed to be, you put them under your spell kind of thing. So I wanted to use this deck so the reading wouldn't be too long, but I can also use a good, amount of things, amount of decks, whatever, in the reading. But I had to stop the reading and go get the deck. So for you guys, you're gonna get a mermaid. That explains how you charm people. You could also be a bit of a jokester, because in this Six of Wands, it usually represents, like I said, success, all eyes on you, like the world is your oyster, you're on a stage, you know? I'm hearing I've got the world on a string by Frank Sinatra kind of thing. So it's like, I can do whatever I want, whatever I want. I'm going to yank someone's chain. I'm going to make a little joke. I'm going to do anything to like get a laugh out of someone. That kind of vibe is coming through. But the way someone is like throwing a stake. So basically this is a dummy that Buffy would use in like her workout or practice layer to kind of perfect her aim. So she would be throwing the stakes at a dummy. Okay. In her like dungeon or training, whatever you want to call it, training room. That makes more sense. So it's kind of like she's going and like practicing on someone, you know? So you could be someone who's really good at like physical pursuits as well. The King of Wands would be the jock, I feel like. He would be the one that's good at sports. He would be the one that's good at like anything he does. Literally, the Queen of Wands is like, not the queen, apologize. There could be some queens here in the room. Thank you. Or the reading. But yeah. Okay. How do my group 2s charm people / cast them under their spell piece for oof? We have find your voice, so you definitely use your voice. And I think it has to do with telling jokes, I feel like, for you guys, definitely. You're cracking jokes, telling stories, getting people lost in like a dream or something. You're really good at selling people stuff. You're a salesman, right? And I do believe I was talking about, I took a break for your guys' group. So if I come back and I'm kind of like a little scatterbrained, you know, forgive me. I have to go back to work. I was on break. And it's funny, I was taking a break from break, please. But coming back, I was talking about earlier how you're like an influencer and people come to you and kind of like escape the world and kind of see what life could be, essentially. You kind of show people what life could be. You show them the good that comes from the ruin. You show them the good that comes from the bad kind of thing. And that's how you like charm people, because you're like, don't look on the bright side. And you kind of show them an entire bright side, you know? It's kind of reminding me of a movie that I just saw a few days ago. It's called Good Fortune with Keanu Reeves, Keke Palmer, and like Aziz Ansari, whatever his name is. What's his name? That's funny. Whatever his name is, what's his name? Keanu Reeves plays an angel named Gabriel. And his job is to stop people from texting and driving. So he touches them right as soon as they take their arms off the wheel and they kind of are brought back to attention and consciousness, and they stop themselves from narrowly, you know, they nearly miss death because he stops them from crashing, or he makes them look up at the right moment, you know. And he's tired of that job. After hearing Angel Azriel telling a story about saving a lost soul from jumping off a bridge, Gabriel is now like, okay, I want to save souls. I don't want to be a texting and driving angel anymore. So he takes it upon himself to help Aziz Ansari's character in the movie. And basically what angels can do is put their hand on your shoulder and show you what life could be. And Gabriel, being so innocent and naive and just wanting to help, kind of shows Aziz's character, who is struggling, living in his car, getting fired from jobs. His car just got towed. He thinks by stepping in and making Aziz's character able to see him, that he can show him this beautiful vision of his future, and he will be like, okay, my life is worth living, or whatever. So basically, Keanu character Gabriel touches Raj's shoulder, that's the Aziz's character, and shows him what life could be. So he's gonna fall in love, but end up living with his wife's mother. So he's gonna be living with his mother-in-law, who is also housing the girl's sister and her husband. So it's a full house, right? And then he shows him how he's gonna have a nice job at what is supposed to be Amazon in the movie, but it ends up being Amago or something. They try to do a wordplay, but it's quite obvious, right? And he's like, oh, like showing him a very drab, ridiculous day that he has to go through during work, and basically a guy is throwing him a pee bottle because there's no breaks because they're on such time constraints they can't stop and use the bathroom. So the guy's like, hey, wait, Raj, don't forget your pee bottle. And the Raj from the past is like, why is he throwing me a pee bottle? And the angel's like, because the time constraints are so fierce that you can't stop and use the bathroom, thinking that he's making this guy's future look better. And every time we get a vision, it gets worse and worse. And eventually the dude was like, I have nothing to live for except poverty and da 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 and blah 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 blah. And like the movie goes on to like, I guess Raj switches bodies with or lives with a rich guy, Seth Rogen, who had fired him recently in the movie, and they go on this whole whirlwind of funny events. The movie is really good and it's very funny if anyone wants to give it a watch. But it's kind of giving how Gabriel thought he was helping, but he really wasn't. He was just so naive and sweet but in the end, everything turns out, of course, it's a movie. Everything's going to turn out the way it's meant to be at the end, but I'm not going to spoil it any more than I did, okay? But it's kind of giving someone who's very well-meaning, who wants to make your life better, who wants to show you a better way. You're kind of like, life is pretty bleak right now. There's not much you can show them that'll make it worth living, and then they do show you something, right? And they end up really being good friends with Gabriel over the span of the movie, and we get to see more of him. And he's just a guy that just wants to help people, That could be your thing as well. So here we have Renaissance. And I do believe the Renaissance era is when everyone started coming up. It was the era of art. It was the era of paintings. It was the era of music. It was the era of murals and artists and stuff like that, of creation, I feel like. And that's kind of what's coming through for you guys. This came through in a reading before, I feel like. But it's kind of giving someone who just creates and has goodwill and wants good things for everyone, That's like how you charm people. You're just someone who's walking around with a really big heart and wants the best for everyone. And here we have Wanderlust. So definitely you're giving like a childlike spirit, someone who is quite innocent. And I do believe I mentioned for you guys, was it the god Gabriel? Which is funny that he's coming up again. If it was your group that I was mentioning, the supernatural trickster spirit, it could have been group 1, honestly. The world may never know. Because you guys are giving similar energies to group 1, but not that similar, right? There's still a difference. But I was talking about supernatural and how Gabriel used to be just a trickster god, or trickster god, and they thought they were trying to kill a trickster god every time they tried to unalive him, but instead they didn't realize they were up against the angel instead, until a whole season 5, and it's kind of giving that vibe here, where I lost the plot. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, like childlike, you know what I mean? You're tricking people, you want to play jokes, that kind of thing. Pranking is a vibe coming through as well. Like just childlike and innocent. And I feel like that's also what Rhett and Link represent as well. They're grown-ass men with whole wives and children at home. But when they're Rhett and Link on Good Mythical Morning, they're just two best friends that are goofing off literally for work, thankfully. Good for them. That's what I mean by thankfully, right? Or I should say luckily, I guess. So that's what's coming through for you guys. Let me switch these out so you can kind of get a look at this card for a little bit. And then we're going to move on to the last card, or there's 2 more. Wow. We have forgiveness. And hiding behind forgiveness is hidden treasure, which is very fitting considering it was hiding behind this card here. So we have forgiveness. So your ability to forgive, your capacity for forgiveness is also what makes you so charming. I do believe you're that kind of person who walks through life like, life is so beautiful, so wonderful, da 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 da, like that kind of thing. And people are kind of like, oh, shut up. The grouchy, miserable people of the world are just like, get over it, shut up. And you're just like, no, I'm never gonna get over it. The world is beautiful. Have you seen the world lately? We're lucky we get up to wake up in the morning, like stop playing in my face. That kind of thing coming through. Nothing that anybody does is gonna like bring you down or keep you down or make you not smile or laugh or crack jokes, even if it's the horrible world we live in. We need that levity and light more than ever. We don't need everybody to be talking about politics and how the world is going to SHIT. We know. We need someone to remind us that life is still worth living and we can still smile and laugh and enjoy ourselves for this 20-minute video despite everything that's going on. That's what we need. We don't need more people talking about this, and that. Yeah, awareness is great and everything, but not everything is meant to be a message or meant to do this or meant to do that. Some things are just meant for goofing off. And I feel like you're really good at that. Bringing the mood and making it more light, bringing up the mood, bringing down the mood. Which one is it? I think it's lightening the mood. It has nothing about bringing anything. You're lightening the moods. You're making it less heavy. You know what I mean? And the mood in life is quite heavy. So your charm is like, yeah, this person is like, oh my gosh, so whimsy. They just want to travel the world and they think everything is love and light. That kind of thing. You know, that's your superpower right there. And then here we have hidden treasure. It's something here about making everyone realize that there's like little hidden treasures in life around us. If we just there to look, it's giving freaking Dumbledore in one of his quotes where it's like, you'll find that it's not as dark as you think if you just remember to turn on the light. Or something about all hope is not lost if one remembers to turn on the light. Something he told Harry, you know, in one of those freaking, you know, movies. I haven't done a Harry Potter rewatch in a long time, but he's like, something about hope is there as long as you remember to turn on the light or something like that. Basically reminding Harry or giving him a little bit of wisdom or advice that even when life is like, seems like it's so dark and there's no way up, nowhere down, whatever. I think I said up twice. Okay, spare me. Thank you. It's like there's always light to be found as long as you know where to look or you know how to bring the light into your own life kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like there's always hope to be found or all light or all darkness or something. All is not lost. But you know, Dumbledoreism. That's kind of coming through for you guys. So you're kind of like dropping words of wisdom, but doing it like a very playful way. Because even though I feel like Dumbledore was meant to be a more serious character, he did have his moments of being really lighthearted and, you know, goofy and, you know, just a kid at heart, you know, that's coming through for you guys. So now we're going to use this deck, what is it called? The Horror Oracle, to get more about you and see what comes through. It is not gory, but it is based on scary movies. So if you're scared of scary movies, beware, okay? I am, but I'm still using it. We can do this, guys, together. How do they charm people? This reading went way longer than I expected it to, Lord. Here we have celebration. You give people something to celebrate and be happy about, or you remind them what is good and happy and just about their life. You know, it could be worse. It could be something you say a lot. Here we have the devil, very interesting. See, this is giving that, not you can't take them seriously, but it's like this person's like a ball buster or something like that. You know what I mean? Here we have ice coming through. That's very funny because what's going on with ice in the world right now. We have water coming through, and water does turn into ice. So you are quite malleable, but like I said, everything that you say has some kind of anecdote in it. It's not just I'm saying something to say something. And then here we have boogeyman. Ooh, interesting. You could be a little imposing or like tall or a little scary or spooky, because in all these cards here, the person looks a little scared, if you can see that. In this card here, sis looks a lot scared. She's like, what's going on here? And this person's following her. I think this is meant to be, like, isn't this like meant to be Jamie Curtis? The boogeyman is Michael Myers. I do believe that's supposed to be Michael Myers. I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like him. This looks like Jamie for sure. The boogeyman. He was a famous man from old Chicago way. He had a buddy style that no one else could play. Yeah, Halloween. Confront the situation head on. That's something that you do. Even when there's uncomfortable silences, you're the person that's breaking the silence and making things like, you know, you're addressing the elephant in the room. Maybe in a funny way, maybe in a serious way. It really just depends. But you're the one that's breaking through the silence. Okay, or the tension, I meant to say. Okay, so yeah, this is Freddie. I'm not Freddie. Come on now, bruh. Can you tell I don't watch scary movies? Michael, Jesus. Okay. Here we have water. Then we have this like Gollum-looking monster fellow here. I don't know where he's from, child. He could stay where he at though. Shoo. Okay, then here we have the devil. I don't know where this is from either. I'm not really good with these things, but that's what's coming through here. I feel like water is your sense of ease, your flow, relaxation. People feel relaxed around you. Ice is the complete opposite. They feel like maybe you could come off of maybe a bit unfeeling sometimes. I don't think that's the vibe though. Why is ice here? Why is ice here? Let's look up what ice says in the book. I wasn't really getting too serious energies from you, but breaking the ice, that could be something coming through. Breaking the ice. Yeah, that makes more sense. Breaking. See, we're here. The devil. There is 𝐓𝐡𝐮𝐬𝐥. As long as you're not hurting anyone, let it rip. That's giving, let it rip. Look, stop it. Okay. So doing as you will, free of social restriction, feels like something worth believing in. But even lore and faith seem to require a figure who can bear responsibility or whom we can blame for our misbehavior. At any rate, things certainly seem more entertaining when they're around. In the end, though, we must settle our own accounts. So as long as you're not hurting anyone, let it rip. It's giving like it's a jokester vibes. That makes a lot of sense. This ice could definitely mean breaking the ice. Where the bumble clot is I, bro? Like, come on. Ice, the thing. Band together to stay warm, resist negative forces. Yeah, you bring people together. That's just it. That is the spell you cast over people from all different backgrounds and races and, cultures. You bring them all together. What is this thing though? Ugh. Ugly, that's all I know. Like, why you look like that? Anyway, look at me making fun of the dang monster. It's supposed to be scaring me instead. That's you. When things get scary, you crack a joke, okay? Let's get one last card from the Wish Familiar's Runic Oracle to see what kind of represents you. What do you embody? What else we can get about how you charm people. And put them under your spell. Please, Spirit, my group threes. My group threes. Okay, we have a taker. We have Rido, the whale. Look at that. So cute. So toot. Let's get the book and see what Rido's all about. I'm still trying to learn runes, so hopefully one day you come to my channel and I don't have to look in the book anymore. Okay, Rido is in the Freya section. It's a humpback whale. Page 10. Okay. So the keywords are journey, natural rhythms, action, movement, and right path. It's kind of like you always seem to know what to do or what to say or how to be. And that's that charm that was coming through, how people will follow you to the ends of the earth because you have that I know what I'm doing energy, or the pretense of it anyway. So faking it till you make it. The humpback whale traverses great oceans with a calm and gentle ease, the embodiment of going with the flow. Ooh, see? That's that, see, that came through in group 1 as well. That's why I was getting that similarity to you guys. Okay? Going with the flow, he is connected to the deep rhythms and truths of the universe as the stars sway above him in the eternal cycle of the Milky Way. The moon governs the tides of the seas and the routines of his daily life. When the whale is connected and attuned to the harmonies of life, he always moves easily in the right direction. So Rido oversees the journey. There is a calm, confident, ordered energy to this rune. And that can be where the ice is coming through. You do it in a way that seems like very routine and structured, even though you're coming through. It's kind of like a comedian and they have like a show, and the show is funny itself, but it takes a lot of careful curating to make the show what it is, to say the jokes at the right time, to wait for the punchline to hit, and then you finally say it and everyone laughs, to build a joke from scratch and make sure it's executed perfectly so everyone laughs when the joke is over. That kind of thing. It takes that discipline. Even though it's just, they're a comedian, they get on stage and talk about anything. No, they have to carefully curate that performance, So yeah, there is a calm, confident, ordered energy to this rune. It references forward motion and the ability to achieve your goals by being in the right place at the right time. Take ownership and control of your story. You are the leader of your life, and developing a true and reliable inner compass is your greatest asset. I'm also hearing the life of a showgirl, right? There is a specific part of the song where she's like, a girl confronts a guy outside the bar saying, I'll do whatever I'll sell my soul to get a little taste of the good life. Something like that in the song it says. And then also it begins by saying not everybody can be a showgirl or will survive. So people love to look at people in the spotlight and be like, oh my gosh, I could do that. All they have to do is talk and sing and go on stage. It's so easy. But you're not seeing the days where their body is sore. they have been touring and doing interviews and like can't move from stiffness, where they're losing their voice, where they're being eviscerated on the internet. You say it's easy, but to put your life out there and be on the world stage is not easy, right? It's almost like exactly what this thing is doing here. He's sitting there waiting for people to throw stakes at him, waiting to be insulted, waiting to be, brought up just to be torn down kind of thing. And it takes a special kind of person to be able to endure that. And I think that was Taylor's whole thing behind it, because everyone thinks, oh, she's this girl who kind of eviscerates men or makes money by talking about this and that. No, she's just a girl living her life and talking about it through song and album. And everyone's mad because she's airing everyone's dirty laundry out. Let her air dirty laundry. This man did her wrong. Okay, I'm going to air him out to dry. Yeah, and make money while doing it. But she's public enemy number one. Everybody hates her. No, that's not how it works. Or it can work that way, but still, everyone loves her. People hate her. Water and ice. Some people like you, some people won't, right? Some people think she's ice cold or whatever. Some people think she's brilliant, Anyway, that's kind of what I'm being. Life of a Showgirl could be coming through. And I just realized there's a remix with Sabrina Carpenter on it. And that one was coming through specifically, so that one can be important as well. And everyone loves to crucify Sabrina as well, because she loves to talk about sex and femininity and sensuality. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's just a big old HOE. And it's kind of like, and if she was, that's her business, not yours. She's not forcing you to be one too. Shoot. Anyway, that's that no matter what comes your way, you kind of ease your way through it, And it's not easy. Everyone can't do it. That's why it's your charm, your superpower, whatever you want to call it. And why did I just realize this guy has his tongue out? He's like, you think I'm scary? Let me show you scary. Or you think I'm scared of you? Like making a joke out of everything. That's definitely something coming through for you guys, okay? Showing people that you don't care what they say about your life and how you move. You're going to just laugh in their face and continue doing you and living life and being successful despite how they feel about you. Okay, so that is the end of the reading. I don't want to do too much. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the tribe. We'd love to have you. Also hype if you can. Okay, period. If you want a personal reading, you can book with me using my email in the description box below. But other than that, I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group threes. Welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me here today. If you have found your way here, then you are here for the purpose of figuring out how do you charm people / cast them under your spell. Okay, so we are still in the midst of spooky season. It is still October. And while there is breath in my body, we will have Halloween readings, gosh dang it, okay? Or I will be using Halloween cards for regular readings, So we're going to get straight into how do you charm people? Maybe you are funny, okay? Maybe you're kind of quirky, There's something interesting and different about you. You don't want to blend in. Or there's something about you that just stands out, It's giving kind of star energy. But it may be in a way that everyone loves or everyone hates. It doesn't matter. Or like I said, in group 2, when you are unapologetically yourself, people tend to take fault in it, whether it's good or bad. It's kind of like, who do they think they are? I'm me. And that would make them even more angry when you're kind of like unapologetic about it. So I think that's something coming through for you guys. But I think there's something endearing about you to people where you're just always yourself. It's kind of reminding me of a question. So I work sometimes part-time at a dance company where I host classes, and we start every class with a community question. And the community question for a previous class was, what do you want to be remembered for? Like when you're dead and gone, right? What do you want people to say about you? What kind of want your legacy to be? And he was asking everyone, the instructor was asking everyone, then I was like, I want to be remembered for being authentic, right? No one can ever say I was trying to be someone else. I was trying to copy someone else. No, I'm unapologetically me, myself, and I. No one can do it like me. No one will ever be like me. And that's my greatest superpower, right? And that was my answer. And I kind of feel like you guys are the same way. Your charm is being unapologetically yourself. Whether people take it in a good way, they're offended by it, they hate it, they love it. You don't care because it's not your problem, okay? The only person you got to worry about is you. And if you have some kids in this lifetime, you got to worry about them kids. But other than that, that's it. If you ever get married and have a husband, he's a grown-ass man. You get married and have a wife, she's a grown-ass woman. Okay? You have a mother, father, or whatever. They're grown-ass people. They can handle and live their own life. The only people you are catered to or beholden to are them kids. Because they ain't asked to be here now. Right? Okay. So that's the kind of energy coming through. Your truth. You're very blunt, honest, straightforward. That's your charm. People are kind of like, okay, no one really says that. And you're kind of like, well, I just did. Mic drop. That kind of thing, okay? Like, only the person I got to worry about is me. So maybe people may call you selfish, or people may call you brave, because it takes a special kind of person to not really care, okay? So some of you could be coming from group 2, or you may feel called to group 2 as well. So that was a long-winded introduction. Thank you for joining me here. How are you guys doing today? Okay. Group 3, please, Spirit. And put some recommendations for spooky themed readings that you guys want to see in the comments. I could use a little bit of help. We have the Chariot. So yeah, you could be a little bit bourgeoisie. I just heard London tipped in. Yay me. People thought that she was stupid, but she really was a genius. There were glimpses of her true genius. You know, when people think you're unable to do anything or you're too dumb to do something, they do everything for you. And that was her thing all along. She wasn't that dumb. She just didn't really want to be responsible for anything but herself and her dog, Yvonne. Okay? That's it. She was like, my dad got money. Do whatever I say. And she wasn't stupid because she was doing the smart thing. If people assume you can't do something, that's their loss. If you assume that I'm done, that's great. I don't got to do nothing. I just got to worry about me. Okay? There's some genius in that, no matter how harebrained or far-fetched it may seem. You know what I mean? You're kind of giving a little bit of maybe Regina George as well, where she was like, child, I know I'm a bitch. I know that. I own that. Okay? And y'all still follow me and bow down to me in this school. And what? Like, no one's holding me accountable. No one's checking me. Like, who gonna check me, boo? Not you. Because I don't care what you have to say. There's something like that. A strong personality is coming from you guys, okay? And like I said, the girl in this card, I meant to say not show, but she's in the show as well, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the tarot that I'm using. I think her name was Cordelia. And she was very much that energy of, I deserve this, I deserve that. I'm the most popular girl here. I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Whether you thought she was or not, she thought she was. And that's all that mattered. I'm the most popular girl. Even if she wasn't, but she was in the school, you know. That's the kind of like the belief you have in yourself. You know, that's something, that's how you charm people. Because they're kind of like, you know what, I think I might want to be like that one day. Can you show me your ways? Like, there's a reason why Regina was this catty, jealous, like just unapologetic person. She said things that everyone was, brave enough to say, right? And there was a reason why everybody in that school bowed down to her, why she was Queen Bee. Okay? And that's a song that's coming through. In the rendition they did of the Mean Girls play, the main girl, Regina George, is Renee Rapp. And then she has a song with Megan Thee Stallion where she's like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that he might leave with me. It's not my fault. You have to pay for what I get for free. And then she's like, it's not my fault you're like in love with me. You're like in love with me kind of thing, you know? That is your belief that everyone in the world is in love with you, that everyone revolves around you, or everything revolves around you, that kind of thing. Let me look up the lyrics real quick because that song was so good. Yeah, she says, it's not my fault. You came with her, but she might leave with me. It's not my fault. You gotta pay for what I get for free. It's not my fault you're like in love with me. Okay? You're like in love with me. Where's she at? What's she doing? Who's she with and where's she from? Oh, she's this? Oh, she's that? She's a flight risk on the run. She's back. She's back. Yeah, I'm back, B. Are you done? Excuse me while I bite my tongue. Okay? And it says, get her number, get her name, get a good thing while you can, kiss a blonde, kiss a friend, can a gay girl get an amen? I'm back on the same ish from before. I can't take this pettiness, now I'm bored. We can't champagne, there's enough for us all. I told you who I am and what it is. That's not my fault. Period. I know that's right. I like y'all group 3. Y'all better come through. And as I was pausing the song and putting the cards down to look up the song lyrics, we have the freaking Queen of Swords here. She is the queen of this energy, I tell you. You don't gotta like me, but you definitely will admire me, okay? You don't gotta like me, but you definitely will love me because I'm everything you can't be. Period. I want to get to Megan's part in the song because she really went off. She's like, you and your best party panic couldn't catch this vibe, like, period. And I'll be on these I'll be on these girls next at the back of like something like, hold on, let me get the lyrics because I didn't go down. Let me get it. She's like, be so bad, dudes thought I was AI. Balling like I stick to the balling like AI, stick to the mother effing money like a stapler, stack like Jenga. Any poom p b get stroked like a painter. It's funny how the mean girl opened all the doors. I've been told y'all I'm the Black Regina George. Bikini top, booty shorts, Megan core. You was hating back then. You was hating back then, now you finna hate more, okay? I've got influence. They do anything I endorse. I run-ish to be a bad bee is a sport. Because I woke up hotter than I was yesterday. Don't care about no rules because I always get my way. What is she saying? I'll be on these girls bob like the back of they something. Because period. Did she not say it in this song? Maybe it's another song. She was like, and I'll be on these girls next at the back of they bob. I think is what she says in one of these songs, but it's not coming through in this one. But anyway, and then it also says, I mean, who wouldn't want to be in love with me? I'm a mood board, boring, gotta pinterest me. I'm a stallion, but they come and F me like Trojan. And it wouldn't be me if I ain't caused commotion. Like, I love Megan, because period. If you don't hype yourself up like this, who will? If not you, then who, child? That's been my motto lately. If not me, then who? If not you, then who? Like, if someone ain't gonna do it, no one's gonna do it. If you don't do it, no one's gonna do it. If you've been thinking about something and you want to do it, you're gonna do it. Even if it makes everyone upset, you're gonna do it even more because it makes everyone upset. I love y'all. Yes, period. Like, what is the song she did though where she's like, and I'm on these girls next at the back of their bob? I'm like, Megan, shut up. But continue, because yes. Anyway, that's what's coming through for y'all. Not My Fault by Megan Thee Stallion and Renee Rapp from the Mean Girls soundtrack, if you want to give it a listen, okay? So that's what's coming through here for you guys. We have the Queen of Swords, which is, there's something here about speaking, speech, thought processes, how you think is how you charm people. It's the way you're kind of like, it's all about me. I run this, like I'm the main character in any room that I walk in, because like, that's just my mentality. Your mentality and how you think is definitely how you charm people and cast them under your spell. Because if you believe it, they're gonna believe it. That kind of thing. Or because you believe it so much, you start having them thinking, wait, is she better than me? Is she the baddest to ever live? Like, there's a, what is the word I'm looking for? There's an intoxication of someone who loves themselves so much. It's like, oh dang, maybe she is the baddest. You know what I mean? Even if they're the most horrible person ever. It's just something about it, child. Okay, so we not only have the Queen of Swords, we have the King of Swords. And this person here is giving the mayor from Buffy, right? And he was a big character in season 3 because he was going to sacrifice the whole school. He was, he turned like a dragon at the end of season 3 and ate up all the kids in the school on the day that Buffy and them was graduating high school. Like, and he was like the most goofy, the most nice, the most like pleasant person you could think of. He didn't even give villain vibes. He was a politician, I'm telling you, right? That could be something. You always know the right things to say to convince people to like come over to your side of thinking, to get people to vote for you, that kind of thing. You're giving like your shaking hands and stuff like that with the right people. Your name is being spoken in the right rooms kind of energy. You know what I mean? But if you watch season 3 and when you first meet the mayor, he's like so like ruthless, but then he's like the most pleasant, you know, guy you'll ever meet. He makes jokes, he's smiling, and that's not usually what we think of when we think of an evil villain. Now, I feel like if he didn't turn into a dragon and eat everybody in the school, okay, that He would have been like a person that people hate just because he's made it somewhere. He's the mayor of Sunnydale or wherever Buffy used to freaking live. I think it's Sunnydale, okay? And he had like one of the Slayer's faith working for him. And I'm like, girl, why are you working for this man? And it's because he wasn't all bad. He just had some ambitious goals, okay, that didn't benefit everyone in the end. But I feel like, who are you if you don't go after your dreams? He wanted to become a dragon and eat everyone, and yes, it's horrible, but can you like applaud him for actually achieving it? He actually did it, right? Even though he didn't survive. But that's the kind of energy coming through here. I wonder if they give like backgrounds on the characters. Can you imagine? I've never read from the guidebook when it comes to this deck. I feel like I know the characters well enough to like just, go off vibes. But I do want to go to the King of Sice. I kind of want to see if they say anything about him. Okay, exactly. Upright. Mayor Wilkins may be a servant of evil, but as the King of Scythes, he does bring strength, power, and authority into your reading. This may be something you are embodying or another force in your life, but when Mayor Wilkins shows up, it means it's time to pay attention to the sound advice. You might find yourself called into mentorship or find yourself seeking a mentor as you have experience to share. While you shouldn't try to plan an ascension, this is an ideal time to put your talents to good use. Okay, so it's definitely giving people are following behind you and listening to what you have to say, wanting to be more like you. It's kind of giving role model vibes. That's your charm. People want to be just like you, right? I'm hearing, you know what is giving? I think that song that I'm thinking of is the song Megan did with BTS. And it's like Butter, but the remix, because like I said, even the best party planner couldn't catch this vibe. And I'll be on these girls next at the back of their bob. It must be giving Kiki if you ever had to wonder. It's giving something like that. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting. That might be the song that was coming through on the flip side. Let me see what that one says. Yes, that's the song that I was thinking about. Butter, the remix featuring Megan Thee Stallion, but it's by BTS. And she's like, so smooth, like the car I ride. Even your best party planner couldn't catch this vibe. Big boss, and I make a hater stay on their job. And I be on these girls' necks like the back of their bob. Houston's finest in the room with bosses. Make them all get ratchet in their suits and blouses. I remember writing flows in my room in college. Now I need global entry to the shows I'm rocking. Smooth like cocoa butter, my drip more than a puddle. They know that I'm the wave, the taking over every summer. It must be giving Stevie if they ever had to wonder, because every beat I get on get turned into Hubba Bubba. So you kind of improve the energy, you improve the work ethic, you improve the overall vibe of a room when you come into it. Because of this, like, I know who I am. You don't gotta tell me. I know I'm cute. You don't gotta tell me. No one has to tell you anything because you know all these things as a queen and freaking king. Okay? There's no humble. There's no be humble, sit down when it comes to you. It's like, no. Like, I'm gonna stand up. Thank you. So that's coming through for you guys. Okay. Let's keep going because we're already so much in. I wasn't expecting this. We have the 10 of Pentacles and then we have the 6 of Cups. Absolutely. So the 6 of Cups here is giving that people think they can be friends with you. You're able to be friends with everyone, or everyone wants to be your friend, okay? 6 of Cups represents friendship. It represents soulmate vibes. So everyone feels connected to you in some kind of way. Everyone can relate to you in some kind of way. There's an emotional bond when it comes to everyone else and you. And it could be because of who you are and what you believe in, or it could just be you in general. You know what I mean? Yeah, the 10 of Pentacles is also someone who is very, like, wealthy. Their energy is like very strong. There's a presence here. They walk around in the lap of luxury. It's definitely giving London Tipton, I feel like, for some of you guys, where she was like, one thing about her, even if you want to call her dumb, ditzy, whatever, one thing about her was she knew her worth, right? Whatever she wanted, she got. Okay? She was very determined. And she would nag you until you gave her something, okay? She would be calling her father, I'm calling daddy, like spoiled brat vibes, and say whatever you want. But she was living her best life. Like, Call her spoiled, call her brat, call her this and that. She didn't care what nobody thought about her. At the end of the day, she was living in the lap of luxury. She was chilling, having people do her homework for her, sailing the seven seas and the street life on deck, living the best life, jet setting, have her dogs dripped out, right? Have the best suite in the hotel. Like, say whatever you want about me, but I'm on my high horse, child. Where are you looking up at me, wondering how I got here, mad at me, instead of worry about yourself, child? That's what's coming through for y'all. And then we have the Nine of Swords. You be on everybody's minds, okay? The Nine of Swords is constantly thinking about something. And we have so much Swords energy already because we have the Queen, we have the King. It's kind of like giving you stress people out in a good way because you only expect like the best. So it's giving everyone's on their best behavior. It's giving you know what you deserve and you're not expecting anything less. So it's kind of giving how sometimes my favorite dating coach on social media is Anwar White. And I'll be, talking about him on this channel. But the one thing he does say is stress that man out. Okay, don't sit there and think, oh my gosh, like I know you're busy with work and you don't have any time for me. No, stress that man out. Stressing men out is the solution. Okay, not the Lulu. The Salulu is stressing that man out and letting him and allowing his body to release some vasopressin, child. Put him under some pressure, and you bring in the pressure, whether it comes to how you're dressing, how you're acting, how you're doting on yourself, how you treat these men out here, right? You're stepping on backs, you're stepping on necks, you're stepping on throats, and that's it. Okay? I'm getting a little bit of Nicki Minaj energy here because, wow, she, child, Nicki is gonna be Nicki. Whether the good, the bad, whatever, Nicki gonna be Nicki, and that's it. She has this entitlement of being the best female rapper, the only female rapper there should be. Everyone who's coming up under her or after her should like sit at her feet and like bow down to her because she was the first female rapper and she paved the way and the entitlement on her. Like, Nicki, like, please, man. Like, we understand, we get it. You were the first really big female rapper, but there were people before you that we ain't hear you applauding when you was coming up. Not that I ain't hear you applauding, right? And I love Nicki. No tea, no shade on Nicki, but it's kind of like that kind of energy where it's like, no matter what happens in my life, I'm right. And people are like eating it up, like, oh, you know what, you might be right, because you believe it so fully and wholeheartedly. Child, y'all are funny. I love y'all, okay? But that's kind of what I'm getting with this Nine of Swords coming through here, okay? The things you do, your intelligence, how you make things kind of like benefit you in the end is kind of like you get everyone to work for you. You get everyone to want to work for you. It's definitely giving boss CEO mindset. You built up this company because you wanted to live a life where you didn't have to work for everything. And CEOs built everything up and now they have all these legions of people working for them. And that's kind of what I was saying with Cordelia as well. She was giving very much old money, rich. I know my worth, where I came from. And it's kind of bringing me back to how Anwar White would say that it's easier for certain women from certain backgrounds and races to date because they grow up with this mentality instilled in them where you're not going to accept less. Some women aren't even given any tools to how to date and live in the world, But Middle Eastern women, for sure, they going after and finding them a rich man. They're not lifting a finger. They're not buying anything. Their husband buys everything because that's the household they done grew up in now. Okay, when it comes to certain white women, their parents grow them up with, hey, this man better do this, and he better do that, and he better do this. And most of the time, they're kind of set up with a life where things go great for them. They don't got to worry about nothing because they have a mother, they have a father. Not everybody, of course. There's broken homes in every culture around the freaking world, okay? But it's kind of giving how it's easier for some of them to date because their parents instilled them with this sense of superiority where you're the prize, woman. If this man ain't showing you why he should want to be with you and why he's going to worship the ground you walk on, why are you even there? Leave. But other cultures who grew up in a mindset of lack and I'd rather have nothing than or something than nothing at all are sitting there dealing with these bozo men out here doing all this kind of stuff. No, stay single and wait for the man who's going to give you what you deserve. Okay? You could be the person teaching people this. You could be the Anwar White out there. You could be the Shira. You could be one of them, like, hey, Shira teaching women how to swindle these men out here, how to get theirs, and Anwar is teaching women how to step up and step in and heal and get this man that they want. Not the man that they're settled down with or they have to settle for. The man that you want. Okay? That's what's coming through here for y'all. Thank you. I love that for you guys, okay? But it's kind of like, and I love how she's waking up. I think this is Buffy woken up as a vampire or something. I love how she's waking up like fresh and ready to face the world, right? So natural beauty is coming through, natural charisma, a natural refinement. You know what I mean? That's what's coming through. You have the attitude of I belong here, like I'm worthy, and that's just about it. But yeah, that's what I was saying. You gotta stress these men out. No flowers? I'm done. I'm going back in the house. You know what I mean? It's giving me a video that I saw on social media where the guy is like, ladies, you gotta deal with too much in life to be letting these men come and get you and treat you anyhow when you guys are dating them. Y'all have to bleed every month. Y'all gotta do this and that. So he was like, if a guy comes to get you and he tell you to come outside and there's no flowers in the passenger seat, go back in the house. You know, if you come out and he has flowers on the side of the seat, great, get in. Now, if that man asking you what we doing, where we going, get back in the house and throw those raggedy flowers away. Because you need a man with a plan, okay? And I love him so, he had me cackling, because period, we gotta go through so much, child, and these men really don't gotta go through as much as we do, and we be letting them get away with murder, child, and it's crazy out here, okay? So that's the kind of energy you're giving, where it's like, if you don't come with flowers, blocked, okay? If you come with flowers but no plans, blocked. If dinner comes and he can't afford it or wants to split, I have to use the bathroom, blocked. Like, stop playing in my face. I know what I'm worth. You wouldn't even get to the date with the person who's not going to pay for y'all. That's the kind of smarts y'all have. Y'all ain't even going to get to the date if they're not paying for it no more. You learned, okay? If it was ever you, never again. Period. Okay, now, let's get the next card here. We have this Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's something here about you being better, so you make people feel a little inferior to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they're trapped here, but they're willing. They are your willing slave. It's kind of what's coming through. So people want to be a slave and listen to what you have to say, right? And that's because you charm them in a way that they're not really used to. They're kind of like, do I like this person or do I hate them? I'm not sure, but I'm going to stay and see what happens. You know, I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the experience, right? I'm having a great time. Is the kind of energy coming through for you guys, okay? So let's move on. We're going to get some cards from this deck, the Mermaids deck, because, you know, mermaids and charming and casting spells and stuff like that, very on brand. So, okay. But there's something here about you having like a good head on your shoulders, being very stable, maybe having built a business up from the bottom to the top, or coming from a place where, because it looks like she's literally just sitting there and this guy is bringing her stuff. He's bringing her pentacles. She's not even standing up. She's like, you come to me, okay? That kind of energy. So it definitely is giving dog walking people out here, right? Whether it comes to romance, it's definitely giving, I tell you what to do, you treat me this way or I'm gone, that kind of thing. There are certain standards that have to be upheld when it comes to dating you, being around you, whatever, okay? Here we have Renaissance, which came through in group 2. So like I said, some of you could feel called to group 2. Or if this reading isn't resonating by now, maybe you are meant to go watch group 2. Here we have Sacrifice. There is something here about maybe you sacrificing love for success, but it's also kind of giving you sacrificing everyone liking you for respect. You know what I mean? Renaissance was like a very fancy era. It was the era of like art and music and stuff like that. So yeah, things were just like very lavish, you know what I mean? It was the boom of art and song and culture, and everybody was getting smarter, you know? It says that it was marked a rebirth after the Middle Ages, you know what I mean? So everything was like classical and philosophic and literature and art, you know, leading to significant achievements in art, science, and global exploration. So that's what's coming through here. You know what I mean? That's the era of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, you know what I mean? Even the person, I don't even know who painted the Birth of Venus, but that was from that time as well. Like stuff like that. You know, when you think of Renaissance, you think of fancy. I do anyway. And the Renaissance has had the, what's this girl name here? Mona Lisa and all that, right? So that's like, it was very influential, rich period in history. okay, and very unique as well. And that was coming through in the beginning as well. You're very much one of one, okay? So here we have laugh out loud. Oh, this is cute. I like this. Laugh out loud. Maybe you have a nice laugh, a nice deep belly laugh, okay? Maybe you're someone who knows how to laugh at yourself. You can take yourself seriously and still know how to laugh at yourself, okay? In case you're wondering, okay? That's coming through. I want one more card to make it even. Please score my group threes. How do they charm people? How do they charm? Okay, you wanted to come out. That was crazy. And here we have duality. Interesting. Yeah, I think the fact that the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords came out kind of represents that, because I feel like thought and processing and thinking and coming up with ideas, there's a masculine edge to it and there's also a feminine edge to it. You know, contain both edges, right? The feminine is like the thinking, the sitting pretty, the coming up with ideas, the being very regal and poised, you know what I mean? Standing in your power. And then the masculine is kind of like going after certain things, leading, you know, having people come to you for advice and you telling them what to do. There's very two different energies here. The queen is the one who's like doing more passive stuff. So for example, when a king and queen were ruling a kingdom, the king was actually making the decisions, right? But the queen had a more passive role in that. She would be whispering in his ear, like, you have the ear of the king. What are you going to tell him to do and how you're going to tell him to change the kingdom, and make him think that he came up with the answer, right? I think that's how queens of past, of old, were doing things, you know, as a woman myself. I'm like, hey, babe, you know, the kingdom's looking a little raggedy. I think we need to upgrade it. The people will love to live in a fresher, nicer kingdom. Knowing that I really wanted to look nice, because I need people to know that we balling out here, you know? And then he's like, you know what, love, that's a great idea. And then the next day he makes his royal decree. And for the next 5 years, we're going to be having a reinvention. Okay, we're going to be, you know, and funding the arts for the children and this kind of stuff and just making everything better. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, hail the king, whatever. And me just sitting on my throne with a smug smile like, yeah, that was me. Yeah. Like, that's the energy coming through here. You're going to be the queen, and while you may not have all the power, you have the ear of the person with power. Okay, some of y'all do have the power, right? Because we're in modern days, like, where women have the power as well. If you want to make change, you make change, and that's on period, right? Okay, so that's what's coming through for y'all here. And like I said, this is like giving someone on their throne kick back laughing, like, oh, they thought it was him that did it, it was really me. And you have the inside joke. Okay. And then, like I said, this is like giving me a nice guy and then an evil guy. So you have your moments of being really nice and then being like really like RBF, haughty, not like haughty, like HOTTIE, haughty, like HAUGHTY, like huffing your nose in the air, kind of haughty. Okay, there's two. You're both. You're the hottie everyone loves. You're so smexy and all this kind of stuff. And then we have the haughty, nose in the air kind of person, okay? I do want to read, now that I have the book here with me, I want to read from Renaissance and see what it says. But you're the one who's full of good ideas. You know how to make things more progressive, make the world a better place, that kind of thing. I do believe the Queen of Swords kind of gives me humanitarian. She does good things behind the scenes, but doesn't shout it from the rooftops, is the kind of energy coming through. So you come off to the world as cold, but you're doing so much good behind the scenes, right? And that's what makes you, where did the thing go? How I lost it, child. How you charm people? Did it fall on the floor? No, where did it go then? Anyway, not important. Here it is. Yeah, how do you charm people? So they know that maybe your coldness is all a facade. You really have a nice heart underneath it, okay? But anyway, this is the wrong book. No, it isn't. It is. Oh, don't piss me off. So I gotta go and I'm still here chatting. Like, it's the end of the work day. I have errands to run. Oh boy. Renaissance. Where's Renaissance? 27. Flip right to it, period. Okay, so Vishnu is one of the main deities in Hinduism. When the world is threatened with evil or destruction, he descends in the form of an avatar to restore the cosmic order. Not me going crazy. Rescue. The fish avatar of Vishnu is called Matsya, and he is often depicted with a human torso, 4 arms, and the lower body of a fish. In ancient religious texts, Matsya rescued a man called Manu from a great flood. Manu was the only human who survived the flood. He performed sacred rituals for the gods, and eventually a woman emerged from the waters. These two became the ancestors of a new human race that replenished the earth. So look, you're the first woman, you're the first one, you're the example, you're the blueprint, and everyone else is cheap copies. Period. Period. Okay. Now, when this card is drawn, you are entering a Renaissance period. The word Renaissance means rebirth. So this will be a time for new beginnings. What aspects of your life are ready to be transformed? What new directions might your life take? Yes. So you're all about that. You're all about the age of Aquarius, new beginning, progression, humanitarianism, focusing on human, because it also says here for, the key developments include the rise of humanism, which emphasize human potential and masterpieces from artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. So like I said, you're telling your king, hey, babe, maybe we should fund some artistic pursuits or projects for the kids of the town and stuff like that. We need to focus on making where we live the best it can be. And that starts with the people, okay? And you're that kind of person. So you care about what's going on in the world. You want to make it better, okay? Through life, through music, through laughing, through jokes. So now we're going to be using the Horror Tarot, right? Is what it's called? No, the Horror Oracle. And it features a bunch of horror movies. So how do you charm people and put them under your spell, please, Spirit? You set the example. Here we have Earth. Yes, something to follow, something to touch, something to taste. You are the queen or king of tangible results. Here we have Forbidden. Oh. What movies are these? I'm not a horror movie girl. Here we have Help Me. So you are a helper. But, first impressions kind of maybe snooty, that kind of thing. Or you hold your boundaries firm. I'm sick and tired of all these words that describe people that are just, they know their worth, child. I'm sick of these words. Like, it's supposed to be a bad thing to have standards and treat people the way they deserve to be treated, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. Like, stop giving people names. To think I'm better than most people, that should be my job as a human. To think I'm the best and want to be the best and strive to be the best. Shoot. Okay, anywho. Yeah, we have Earth, and I think, is this Dracula? It kind of or is it Nosferatu? I don't know. I know it is funny because I was thinking about SpongeBob. And then this card came out. I was thinking about SpongeBob because, where is the book? Like, not you disappearing. That's crazy. I was thinking about, are you finished running those errands? That episode of SpongeBob where Squidward kept telling SpongeBob, I'm gonna come and work, I'm gonna help you, but first I gotta run some errands, right? And he left SpongeBob by himself in the Krusty Krab for so long, and while he was at home relaxing, he kept having visions of everything, of all the worst things that SpongeBob could be doing, that he would run to the Krusty Krab and then find SpongeBob just standing there, and he would be like, are you done running those errands? He's like, no! And then he would run back home and think that SpongeBob is burning down the place and run back to the Krusty Krab, breathing hard. So he had no relaxation that day, because maybe it's hard for you to release control or expect other people to do things when you can do it better, that kind of thing. Because he was like, yeah, let me get one over on SpongeBob and make him do everything, and then turn around and have no rest that day because his mind is going of all the bad things and all the destructive ways he would be destroying the Krusty Krab. So he had no rest and he thought he was slick, and that's what he gets, okay? That could also be that 8 of Swords and 9 of Swords. You think too much, but that's also a good thing because you see things people don't, you think of things people don't, and that's where your innovation comes in. Then it can also be a bad thing because overthinking doesn't really get you anywhere. And I also heard overthinking is like anxiety, right? Someone said the opposite or the cure to anxiety is action. And I'm like, bars, that's so powerful, because you're spending so much time thinking about doing something, thinking about what could happen, thinking about what couldn't happen. Instead, you should be doing things, right? The cure, the opposite of anxiety is action, doing stuff so you're not thinking, or instead of thinking about all the bad things that could happen, think about all the good things that could happen and make them happen, period. Stop it. Y'all better come through out here preaching and things. That's y'all superpower as well. Like, you building somebody back up. They back is hunched and they're losing their faith, and you just be breathing and talking and saying stuff and preaching, and they back just slowly gets like, yeah, I could do this. Yeah, period. Okay. Let me get this book. I think I found it. But maybe I was meant to talk about SpongeBob, because that was like giving overthinking and not being able to release control to someone and think they're going to do a good job, you know, or trust them to do a good job. Whew. Okay, so what do we have here? We have Earth. Yeah, it is Nosferatu, and he was also in a SpongeBob episode. So it says upright. Remember where you came from. That's definitely something that could be, you know, for you. You came from not so good or humble beginnings, and now you're good to, oh, tongue tied, sorry. And now you're dedicated to doing the complete opposite of that, you know? Okay, so what else do we have here? We have forbidden. You doing things people wouldn't think to do that they're scared to do. Or what one people would call forbidden, you will call like destiny or something. Oh, this is the candy man. Oh my. Proceed with caution. So you are very cautious. Being two air signs, I would, yeah. Okay. Or maybe you throw caution to the wind. You know, maybe you're, like I said, you're given this duality here with this guy here. Sometimes you're too cautious. Sometimes you're not cautious enough. You know, you think too much and you do a lot of action to kind of counteract that overthinking, you know? Okay. And then we have help me. Where would H be? Is that my phone? H is before I. Come on now, stop playing. Help me. What's going on here? Oh, it's the word on it, right? No. Exactly. So why is help me not in H? Oh, I'm going to start swinging because I'm not in the mood. We have all the other H's, but we don't have help me. Don't piss me off. Okay, thank you. Okay, so The Exorcist is what this one here is, and it says, have faith in others and ask for help. Okay, The Exorcist, oh my. I don't like that. And then we have the what's wrong with me right here. So people could ask you that, like, what's wrong with you? You could ask yourself that. But like I said, the things that are wrong with you, there's something that's going on social media recently where people are posting like very unhinged videos, and people in the comments are like, I love whatever's wrong with you. That's kind of how people act when it comes to you. I love whatever's wrong with you. Okay, so we're going to get one more card from my Which Familiar Runic Oracle. So we're going to get an animal and a rune, and then we're going to see, I guess, which one represents you, which rune represents you. It could be a message, it could be a confirmation, whatever you want it to be. Okay. How do they charm people, please? How do they put them or cast them under their spell? Group 3, please, Spirit. Group 3. I wonder if I could ever have a short reading. I tell you, I try. I try. Nothing. Group 3, please. Ooh, that's way too many. Don't play in my face. You think I'm playing with you? I'm not. That was like 5 cards. I just want one. Everyone else got one. Group 3 don't get one. Yeah, you special. That's fine. You're getting 1 card. That's it. Group 3, please, Spirit. Thank you. We have Perthro. Of course, we got the snake. This came through in group 1, I believe, as well. How this, was another reading. I think all blend together. I was talking about how when snakes open their mouths, it kind of resembles a yoni, and that's like a divine portal. That's the divine feminine. How women are able to birth literally brand new life from their body, from their yoni, from their nether regions, the female genitalia. Okay, that's coming through. But the snake is definitely giving that. It's also giving Kundalini awakening. It's giving power. It's giving awakening. All that stuff. Where's the book for this? Here it is. Let's see what rune you guys got. The animal's a snake, so a little intimidating, but also not the enemy. People see snakes and think they're all evil, but not all snakes. The same way not all people are evil. So people could definitely judge you and say, oh my gosh, this person's so scary and mean, da 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 da. But it's a stereotype, because we're not meant to be so full of ourselves and love ourselves. So the fact that you are is kind of like, oh, they're not good. Anyway, we have Perthro. Perthro, the snake. It is a Heimdall in the whatever. Okay, so these all have like different This is the Freya section. This is the Heimdall section. This is the Tyr section. What I meant by that is you guys, your snake is in the Heimdall section. And what I remember of Heimdall is he was like the messenger god from the Avengers. He was played by Idris, his fine self. What page? I'm getting distracted. I'm like, Idris, yes. Okay. So the keywords are good omen, fate, the unknown, initiation, and the occult. So you also come through with someone who knows things, right? Whew, okay. It's given like a prophet. It's kind of the vibe that's coming through. But anyway, the two-headed snake, it had two heads? Dang. That's crazy, yeah. With her third eye open, is able to see all that is fated and has yet to manifest. Living between the known and the unknown, she counts prophecy as her domain. Cosmic and primal laws unfold before her, and she moves between their patterns, playing out her unique journey with the choices she makes of her own free will. Perthro, like Ehwaz, is a deeply mystical rune and deals with the fundamental mysteries of the universe, such as the flow of individual and collective fate. The arrival of Perthro in a reading is a good omen if an outcome is yet unknown. It represents individual choice, interacting with fate. And that's what I was talking about, that anxiety versus action. You definitely making moves, making strides, right? There's an unyielding joyfulness to this rune. It is also the birthing rune connected to women's mysteries, which, given the inherent risk, initially unknown outcomes, is probably why it is also connected to gambling for the ancients. Yeah. So yeah, good omen, fate, unknown, initiation, the occult. All those things seem scary, right? But you make them into the good. The unknown, oh my gosh, what would happen? The occult, oh my gosh, it's so evil. But it's also good. So stop playing our faces, okay? Group 3, we love you. I love you, okay? So that's all that I have for you guys. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can always do so using my email in the description box below. Make sure to hype the reading. If you love me, if you don't, I guess I understand, okay? But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye.